Good evening, and welcome to Between the Shadows. We are your hosts, Kristen and Kara, and we are very happy to have, first off, Miss Penny Dreadful, the first time on Between the Shadows.
From Tara Collinwood.
From Tara Collinwood.
Hello, ladies. Hey, look, I still have my really cool Between the Shadows.
Awesome.
Yes.
We have Mr. Alan Gallant, first time guest. Thank you for coming.
From
Absolutely.
Port After Dark.
Colin Pours After Dark. And our returning guest, Mr. Patrick McCray.
Yes.
Say this about
the
Penny
Dark Shadows
Dreadful.
Daybook.
I'll
Yes.
say this about Penny Dreadful. As I said before, if Julie Andrews played Vampirella, I present.
It's true.
You know.
I concur.
You know, this would all be a
By the way, my invisible dark master and permanent Dark Shadows life partner Wallace McBride manifested and gave me blessing to do. I'm not sure I'm going to do it, but to do an official CHS podcast that I would host.
Cool.
Yes.
That may or may not
Awesome.
happen if I
We
get off
talked
the
about this in the Uber on the
everybody.
That's amazing.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I hope you do it. That would be so
I
cool.
really do. I really hope you do, because I remember listening to you interview several people on the Colin Sport Historical podcast, including Humbert Allen Estredo, and it was wonderful hearing your interviews or sitting in a bar with somebody and discussing House of Dark Shadows, and so I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Definitely.
We'll
So
see.
we have all gathered here today in this virtual room to talk about the Dark Shadows Remembrance Weekend, because we were all there in person and
Yeah.
finally got to meet everybody in person. It was amazing. It was an amazing time, and I'm still reeling, over a week later. And
Yeah.
first and foremost, what did y'all think? Miss Danielle, you can go first. Ladies first.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was absolutely wonderful. I mean, it was such a heartwarming, bittersweet. It was sad, happy, and it was. I mean, I think the thing I kept hearing over and over again was family reunion, and that's really what it felt like. It was like everyone coming together, fans, cast members, and people putting on the event, and just coming together from all over the country, all over the world. Stuart came from England. There were a couple other people from England here.
Yeah.
It was really great and heartwarming, and I'm so glad I went, and I was so glad to meet all of you in person. I had met Patrick before, so it was great to see Patrick again, and Alan and Kara and Kristen. It was so nice to finally meet you in person, so I'm so glad I went.
Definitely. Alan, since it's your first time on the show.
My first time. Oh yes. I was not quite a virgin going to this, but almost. It had been since 1999 since I'd attended an event, so that's a lot of dust and a lot of miles.
Yeah.
But basically, it was sort of a birthday gift to myself to come. And probably the most fun part that I had was I was actually Patrick's roommate for the time that I was there. We had a great time. At least I thought we did. Hopefully he wasn't gritting his teeth throughout the whole
No,
thing.
he was great. I awoke Alan under weird circumstances times.
Yes, but not a problem. Not a problem.
It was very sitcom like.
Yeah, it was.
Alan, does Patrick snore? Does Patrick snore? Patrick, does Alan snore?
Alan did not. Alan said he did. I have a life-threatening case of sleep apnea to beat the band.
Oh.
So I risk my life every time I go to sleep. And so I have all sorts of tubes and things. I look like a Giger character or something,
Oh, dang shame.
If I sleep on my side, it usually doesn't death rattle anybody. When I lay on my back, or there was one time I fell asleep sitting up, and then I snored, and he had to wake me up in the middle of a conversation. So
Alan had to deal with the fact that I go to sleep very late, and I sleep for about an hour, and then I'm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's just how I'm built.
No.
It's ironing, like clattering around in the bathroom trying to iron.
Yes.
I was just saying that before we got on. I was like, you East Coasters, some of you East Coasters, you stay up all night.
I
Like,
know.
how do you do it?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
I feel like up 5
But
hours past my bedtime.
I'm still not back on clock completely.
Yeah.
That's why I was a little bit late, because I fell asleep during my nap time,
Oh,
and I
that is
just woke up at
A-OK.
5
Just when I
past.
was getting adjusted to the time
Yeah.
difference. Like, then I came back and I'm like,
Yeah.
opposite.
And I'm flying to Florida next week, and that's 2 hours ahead of us. And I'm like, I am never
Oh,
going to get back on track, not ever.
mhm.
So
Rubber band.
I get it.
Think of
I
all the-
get it.
think of all the innovations and secrets you'll learn about the future. Because
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is the only way I get to time travel, and I know it's the only way it's going to happen in my lifetime. So I mean, I will make sure I can get it.
bills, Washington in flames.
You can borrow these sometimes.
Look at your
Yes.
HQ.
Oh, where'd you get those?
Going to
Look at
going to
that.
Danielle's house next.
Yes.
I traveled into your past and
Ah,
stole them.
Alan, oh my gosh.
I need
First,
these. Where
to
can I
find the
get
coal
these?
hexagram.
Yes.
You know Jimmy Hutchison?
Yeah.
He's a longtime Dark Shadows fan. He made these in I think it was the early 90s, maybe 91, 92, and he was selling them in the back of a fanzine.
Oh my
So
God.
Awesome.
I just had him on the podcast and I was like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
cool.
Yes.
I need these
Yeah.
in my life.
Be
I
careful.
had
though.
a
seen them again.
I had a
He's thinking,
dark
They can
sorry.
turn you into a skeleton. Be
That's
careful.
right.
the
Only if you're
hexagram of
wearing
change.
a party dress from 1897, though. That's when it really.
You know.
Which-
just
The
kinda all comes
danger I live with.
together.
Take risk.
Keep mine in my
Risk-
closet. Thank you very much.
Risk
and
is
go away
my
from-
business.
Did anybody get any like memorabilia or what am I trying to say?
Merchandise. from the
Merchandise
show.
while you were there?
Yeah.
Really?
Books. I bought one of the reprints of the paperback library books just to have because it's a different format, but I've got
Yeah.
all the originals, so I
Yeah.
didn't go crazy with that. And they were selling the 96 Barnabas ring
Yeah, they
for
were.
like $25.
oh, I missed that.
And a bunch of them, so it's like I
Yeah.
I
grabbed
didn't
one
get
of
anywhere
those.
near any of those.
No, you were kind of selling your wares over at Catherine's.
Yeah,
too.
you were working, Badger.
Yeah, man. We saw the sweat drip down more than once. So
Oh, it was
Just working
ridiculously
out.
hot over there because the lines got long and everybody was like opening the doors and
Yeah.
stuff.
Only
Yeah.
in velour.
Say that's my one gripe with the
Mm.
weekend is that area where they had the actors signing and the vendor, like MPI was there and stuff. It needed some kind of ventilation because I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
actors are, 80 plus years old and
Yeah.
they were like lines mobbed with people and all those
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
caused the temperature to go up, so
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I feel a little nervous about that.
Yeah, some of the
Yeah.
lines came out of the ballroom. That was
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
That was better.
I don't feel like that line coming out of the ballroom went anywhere because we stood in that line for an hour and then we got to the end. It was like, where does this line go?
Like, hold on.
Yeah.
Air conditioning there.
Yeah. Well,
But
it was
at
good
the
that
end
there
of
wasn't
it,
any
I
more
mean-
than, around 400-ish people. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that.
I think I heard Catherine Lee Scott say, she said the room was set up for 350 people and I think they all came, like every
Oh, yeah.
single one of them. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
whew,
I was on a waiting list before I got to buy my ticket. So I know-
Really?
Yeah, there was a waiting list.
I did
Yeah.
not-
Yeah.
we bought ours the day that they went on sale because I didn't want them to sell out.
And
Yeah.
they did.
And they did really, really
It's
quick.
kind of
sale.
ironic because with the exception of getting into the banquet, you
Right.
didn't need one.
It's true.
You
Right.
didn't
yeah.
check it, it was very casual.
Yeah. it
Yeah.
was very-
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
cool
So if
that
you
way.
could resist that delicious rubber chicken,
Oh,
Rubber
my
chicken.
gosh.
maybe.
Full confession, I
Rubber
went and
chicken.
got Jack in the Box after that. I'm not even kidding.
We're
Why-
so good,
why-
Catherine.
Yeah, that chicken left something to be desired for sure.
Jack in the-
Yeah,
It was better than I anticipated it being, though. I will say
it
that.
was. It
How
was.
bad did you anticipate it
What?
being?
Bounceable. Like you could just because it was the right size and shape, you should be able to. toss
I
it over.
put it on the
I mean,
bottom
I've
of
had
my
worse chicken.
I put it on the bottom of my Chuck Taylors, and I was bouncing around like
Oh, yeah.
Murray character in
I
Flubber.
must have gotten one of the better ones around the edge of the cooking dish or something.
Right.
It was fun. We had a fun table. It was,
Mhm.
Patrick and I were at that table. John Logan was there.
Yeah.
James and Valerie Storm were at that table.
You guys are up front. real
Amanda
close to the front,
Desiree,
yeah.
Amanda was there. So it was a fun time over there.
But
I do have to say, like, after all the chaos and everything and some of the maybe disorganization of it all, like, Catherine and David and they were all such good sports about it.
They really
Like
were.
they stood there the whole time till the end of their lines, and they were such good sports about it.
You could tell how
Super.
tired they were, but they smiled so big for every picture, smiled at every person they walked by, and it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
James Storm was great. I mean, he seemed to
Oh
gain
my God,
energy
James
with
and
people
Bella.
around. I mean, we got to spend some time with him over a period of a
Yeah.
couple of nights, and he was
That
just
guy.
like animated the whole time. He was not
Yeah.
tired, worn out or
Yeah.
anything.
man.
Playing
Yeah,
the
they were
top
fun to talk to.
songs that he played, yeah.
I will say this, like starting off the weekend, really, Friday night, the memorial service for Lara Parker. They couldn't have started off the video montage, they did their openings and everything.
The ode to Angelique.
That scene, like to be there to celebrate specifically Lara Parker and Jonathan Frid, they could not have started that, video montage off better
With a
than,
more
than
perfect
that
scene.
scene with Angelique and Barnabas, the
With her
the curse
cursing him.
scene, I
You
thought
know
that
what
was just the perfect scene to start off the
You
weekend.
know what I liked
you know?
about that is that there was a case at the very beginning of the campy giggles of people, oh, what's that scene? Doing
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah,
But about 3 lines of dialogue in, it stopped.
Yes.
yeah,
And they with the show again, and they were dealing with it on its own terms. And the mirror, the visor of camp just kind of went away.
yeah.
And they
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
it with the sincerity with which it was intended.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes, like you just said, I literally felt it in the room. Like I felt it in the room. Like everything, just got silent, and everybody seeing it really for what it was, the craft of Lara Parker. Like,
Yeah.
and
I put
her
on my
and Jonathan,
serious vibes.
like
I
you
was
could
like,
just feel it in the room.
not laugh,
Mhm.
not laugh at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will
Listen,
admit, I was one of
math.
those people who was quoting the curse as she was saying.
I know, I
it
was
with her
sitting
dying
there just-
breath. Not out loud, but just, to
Yeah,
myself.
too.
So.
Catechism.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
That was a serious moment of ritual.
It really
Yes.
was. It really was. There was no better way to kick it off
Yeah.
than with
You
that.
know what? I gotta say, there is no blooper reel,
No.
and that was
No.
nice
I
No,
was
because
they went from
Yeah.
that, and then at the end, you got these lovely pictures of Lamar as a child.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
young
Yes.
girl, and all of that sort of thing. So that was, I think,
Ordinary
that was
looking.
suitably emotionally deep on that end of it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Certainly was.
definitely.
Certainly was.
Definitely.
So thoughts on the memorial service? Discuss.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
It was fantastic. It was really, really, really beautiful. Everyone was so sincere.
Yes.
They were so moved. And, I, at least for some of us, I was not on the scene. If they had a show in 2012 or whatever, I don't know if they did or they didn't, but I was
Mhm.
doing the watch through and all of that. And so, I was not around really for the Frid pain.
Mhm.
Except that he died a day after my birthday. That was weird.
Aw.
But yeah, I know. Happy birthday. But we got one more present. So I felt, because of that, I felt such a distance. I've never really written about, the death of Jonathan Frid and so on. And I think, part of that was Mr. Frid seemed, he was aged, and it was just like he was probably at a fair amount of peace at that. And Lara Parker is just this force of nature.
Yeah.
She really was.
Kept going, and despite all sorts of stuff. And so I think for that reason also, it was a real shock. And I think for a lot of reasons, I think people just were much warmer. I think, there is a part of me that I fear what the show after some of the others, when that time comes, will be
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
And maybe there won't be a show at that point or I don't know. And that's not a response to like gossip or anything. I
No.
literally don't know.
Yeah.
And but this one, I think the emotional catharsis of this one will be very hard to top.
Mhm.
I
And-
agree.
But what I think also interesting is that I think that the brand of mourning and the type of mourning that might happen. God forbid, should one of them shuffle off the mortal coil,
Mhm.
will be
Yeah.
different. I think the emotional tenor will be different for each one.
Right.
And I am a little curious for that, because there will be demonstrations of love, but they will be very different and individualized demonstrations of love, as they should be.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Danielle?
I mean, it was wonderful. It was beautiful. I loved, the mix of fans and cast members, taking turns going up and speaking about Lara. It was a nice mix. And
Agreed.
you could hear about her from different perspectives and how different people look at her.
Agreed.
It was very moving and funny and sweet. And I wasn't expecting to get emotional when Roger Davis went up.
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
did get choked up. I mean, he did kind of go down, as usual. Roger Davis kind of tends to
Sure.
go spiral into different directions, but he did bring
Yeah.
it back around to where his original point, and you could tell that his, Lara Parker really meant a lot to him and helped him a lot. Her and her husband Jim, they gave him a place to live when things kind of crashed for him. And he expressed that, and he got choked up talking. He got emotional. Wasn't expecting that, and that was really nice. And all of the cast members going up, Jim Storm playing beautiful music on the guitar, and
Beautiful.
Very
Catherine
moving.
singing about her friend, and
Yeah.
David's poem about Angelique. Lisa Richards didn't have too much interaction with Lara, but she said some nice things too. And then
Yeah.
all the fans, it was just great. And I also enjoyed seeing, after the clip of Angelique putting the curse on Barnabas, they played so many clips from her movies and TV
Yeah.
shows
Mhm.
and I had not seen before. So that was really great
Yeah.
to see too. She was so, like Patrick said, it's the kind of thing where, I know Jonathan Frid, I was devastated when Jonathan Frid died. Absolutely as we all were, I'm sure, but you could see he was very frail when he passed away at that time.
Yeah.
It was really sad, but I wasn't extremely shocked. I was actually really stunned when Lara passed away, because I had interviewed her a year before she passed, I think
Right.
almost
Right.
a
Right.
year before, and she sounded, I had no idea she was ill. She was just brilliant and sharp
She
and
was. She was.
decisive, intelligent, and just curious. And it was great listening to her talk. She's inspired. She was inspiring. She certainly inspires me still, so
Definitely.
I was stunned, and the whole fan community came together to pay tribute to her in a really
Yes.
positive way. And I really loved that.
And like when Ansel was speaking at the memorial service, like just specifically the one thing he said, like, because he, got to work with Lara like 3 months before. And he admitted she was frail, she was weak, but he was like, but when she got back into her element, the acting, like she just came back to life no
Yeah.
matter what, and that's what we love about her. Like she's
Yeah.
just full of life, even, up till her last day,
Yeah.
she's full of life and
So
Yeah.
inspiring
full of
too.
her craft. And oh my
Yeah.
God, so
I did-
touching. It's so touching and so inspiring.
Yeah, I knew I'd heard she had Parkinson's. I did not know she had cancer.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know that
Yeah.
until she passed away.
I
So
think it was an appropriate separation. Her closest friends and relatives probably all knew.
Yeah.
Most of them did,
Yeah.
but I think she probably figured, the fans have this part of me, but this is going to be for family and so on.
Right.
Right.
You still
Right.
keep
There was,
yourself.
Right.
Do you remember shortly before she died, Catherine Lee Scott posted this thing on Facebook about, went and had a long talk with Laura. And I don't know about you, but when I read that, there was an inflection in the font. That's the only thing I can say. It wasn't a special, but there was just an inflection somewhere within the pixels that formed that font
Yes.
that made me think that's the kind of long talk that only happens under one circumstance.
Right.
And that's when I went like, oh, is that? Oof.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you review a 50-year friendship, it's and you're
Yeah.
getting
That's a series finale. That's
absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
I loved hearing Catherine Lee Scott talk about that 50-year friendship. That just,
Yeah.
that's when I started to get emotional. I'm like, to know somebody that long and to share what they shared, I'm like,
Mm,
one can only hope for something like that, you know? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I have her, but you know, I've known her all my life, so.
We're sisters.
So,
You're the
but,
two luckiest women I know.
aw,
Yeah.
stop
too.
it.
I mean it.
I have a question. Is
Yeah.
when David Selby read the poem about Angelique, do you think he was reading it as Quentin or as David Selby?
Oh my God, it's so
I was
funny.
trying to figure that out the
I was
entire
trying
time.
not to hear Quentin because that's all I heard.
It
I mean,
was-
So
it
much
was
like
David Selby.
Quentin.
I saw him do that poem, I'm pretty certain, in 2014 at the
Okay.
convention. And
Mhm.
she was there. She was just a few chairs away from me, with her husband. And like every moment that it got a little too, I kind of looked at her,
you gotta
and
like
she
side look.
just had this
Yeah.
eyes rolling heavenward, and her lips.
Mhm.
She ate it up. She loved it. She
That's
loved
so
it.
good.
And Jim was totally cool with it. So that was just great.
Yeah.
Alan, you're awful quiet over there.
I am awful quiet. What can I say? I'm spent from all of my revelry.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
You tired
We
as well.
actually, the first night of the fest, if you want to call it that, the remembrance. Patrick and I went to a Mediterranean restaurant, a hookah bar, and hung out and talked for a while. And then we came back, we Ubered back, and by this time, I don't know what the hell time it was. Must have been 11 o'clock West Coast time, something.
Yeah,
It
that
was
wasn't late for y'all.
and we
so-
we saw the cluster of actors and several of the fans and et cetera, and Ansel and several of the others sitting there near the bar area. And we kind of went, hey, no, gotta go
Yeah.
to bed. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just that lag just kind of
Certainly.
washed at
I
that
will
point.
say
So,
what one of my favorite moments was when Kara and I had gotten to Burbank, because we didn't fly into Burbank, we flew into Ontario, but
Mm.
when we got there and we got settled and we got dressed and ready to start meeting people, we went down to the bar, to have a drink, and we knew Ansel was over there with his crew, and John Logan walks up to us with Ansel and he was like, ladies, I am so sorry to interrupt. He's like, are you guys from Between the Shadows? And we were just floored. We're like, we just got here, and of course I didn't know it was John Logan when I met him, but it was just, it was so humbling and so like, I couldn't believe it. It was great.
I mean, he's one of the nicest guys you can meet.
I'm
He's one of the
starstruck.
nicest guys.
Isn't it cool when somebody with that kind of resume, it turns
Yeah.
out to be a fan of Dark Shadows?
Yeah.
What an honor. I mean, what an honor.
Yeah.
He's a fan of your podcast. Like he
I-
reached out to me and he was like, how do I get in touch with Kara and Kristen? I emailed
Oh.
them. And then when we were at the remembrance
Oh my
event,
gosh, did he
we
email
were
us?
sitting, I think, a row in front of us. I was like, oh, have you met Kara and Kristen? And he's like, yes, I totally geeked out.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It just blew. I'm like, it's like I told Patrick at dinner that last night. I'm like, do people know that we're nobodies? I mean, do they know? I mean, but
No
Well, they
such
don't.
thing.
They
Yeah.
don't. They know you're somebody's.
That's
They know
right.
you're somebody. That's right. They know you're somebody's.
I had to mention that because I'm still just like, my head is spiraling from that. I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to be here.
It's like, it's Penny, like you said, like on the summit, like, towards the end, we're all just doing this because we love it.
We love
do
it,
this for fun. We're not getting paid to do this. We
No,
just do it
We love
from the
it.
bottom of our hearts. We just love
Yeah.
to do this and we love it. Like,
Dark Shadows has
great.
been an old friend for a long time.
yeah. So I
And-
can imagine for all of us, when, moments like that happen, when we get those opportunities. I mean, we're always, in a word floored, if I can use that. Just very honored and very,
So while we're on the
Yeah.
topic, favorite moments, go.
yeah. What was your favorite, just the whole weekend in general? Yeah.
There can be more than one, please.
Probably getting a chance to talk to Jim and Valerie quite a bit of the time.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
We got special time with them.
Me
Patrick
too.
and I both did.
Yeah.
So
They
Yeah.
were great.
they were incredible. And Val's sister is really, really nice person as
Yeah,
well. She was
yeah.
helping Roger
She's so sweet.
at his table. So yeah.
The thing that got me in that was, there's a thing with the day book that I really go out of my way to do. And that is, when it's time to highlight an actor, I really try and do something where if they read it, they will know on a professional level that their work is appreciated and for very specific reasons. And, I can't talk about much in a technical sense. But I can talk about acting in a technical sense, and I can talk about acted storytelling in a technical sense. It is my job.
Sure.
And so, for years I would do that. And, just because someone's on something, meaning a show, not a medication.
Sure.
I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah. Just because someone's on something doesn't mean that they read about it voraciously, or that
Yeah.
Right.
they're a person with tastes like anyone else. And so there's no reason why they would necessarily be reading the day book or anything. And so I would do these things, hoping that if they saw it, maybe they would know, hey, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And I did that well. And I had several pieces where I did that with James Storm. And so Mr. Storm had read earlier drafts of the books and had given me some blurbs to put on covers and so on. So that was very kind of him. But some of the things got included after that. And they were things involving him, and specific praise, Dark Shadows Day book, Unbound, page 298. And I was able to present that to Mr. Storm, and he had the time, because it was just at the bar and it was in the afternoon. He had the time to take a look at it, and he seemed to appreciate that. I mean, not just in a oh yeah, thanks kid sort of sense, but that was a very nice moment of being able to give back.
Oh,
Absolutely.
man,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Danielle.
I mean, I guess my favorite thing about being there was just getting to spend time with everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think I had any downtime, because as soon as I left my hotel room, it was like you'd run into somebody in the hallway and
Exactly.
conversation.
You were a social butterfly.
Yeah,
just-
you were.
You were off and running. It was
it was like, everybody was like, oh my God, there's that person. There's Guy Haynes. There's
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
Kara. And so that was great. I getting to meet all of you in person. Ansel too, how I had not met in person, and Nate Wilson,
Yeah.
Stuart,
Yeah.
John Logan. I mean, it was just so wonderful getting to have a good time with everyone and see everyone.
Certainly.
For sure.
I
That was
agree with that.
My favorite thing was just that kind of family reunion feeling to it. It was a lot of fun.
Like we were saying that too. Like this was our first like Dark Shadows gathering.
Mhm.
Like call it a con or a fest or whatever.
Get
but
together.
but this was our first. But I think that's all we could talk about as well. Like you said, Danielle, like
Just
to like
talking
the
to
second
people.
we left our hotel room, every time, like it was just go, go, go. Like we ran into
Yes.
somebody here, somebody there. Like it was just honestly, and that was the best part, I think, for
Yeah.
us. Like just
Yeah.
getting to talk to you guys, getting to meet you guys, getting to even Catherine and Roger and David, they were all just so giving and so just chill, just like,
Yeah.
let's hang out. Like
Yeah.
they'll hang out all night and just talk to you and make sure they get to talk to everybody who wants to talk to them. Like
Yeah.
that was the best part. The best part.
I'll
Like,
be honest.
accessibility of Dark Shadows actors is a rare thing.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
degree to which
was
they
like-
make themselves accessible is.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised, but I kind of was, because you meet people who are famous and it's like, oh, well, there's a line and it's only a specific time, but they were out meeting people and talking to people, and as long as people would stand there and talk to them,
like it was so low
And-
key to what I didn't know what to expect. I had expectations and they were all met, honestly, but
exceeded.
I
even.
didn't know what to expect, but they were exceeded. And oh my God.
I think one of my very favorite things, and it didn't hit me until I got there and got in a room full of Dark Shadows fans.
Yeah.
I leaned over to Kara. I said, "Can you imagine?" I said, "We're sitting in this room watching, these clips from Dark Shadows. Watching Jonathan Frid, the remembrance of Lara Parker." And I'm like, we are in a room of people who understand us, who feel the same way that we do, and it's just,
Yeah.
up until now, it's just been her, you know, and
Like,
it's incredible.
Just being in a
you
room
know?
with a few hundred people that are like-minded in this one thing, like,
Yeah.
And across a wide spectrum, because there were
Yeah.
people there who have been fans since, I mean, they've been going to conventions since Shadow Cons in the 70s.
Right,
Before
right.
festivals.
Yep.
And then there were other people. There was one guy I talked to discovered Dark Shadows in 2019 and has been a
Wow.
big fan ever since, and is a Edgar Award winning writer, and he's discovered Dark Shadows only a few years ago. So
yeah,
it was quite
yeah.
an interesting, and people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, different ages, kids. There were kids there, young people.
Yeah,
I mean,
little kids, like.
Did you see the little kid dressed as Barnabas?
They-
I
Oh
heard
my
about-
gosh, that was awesome.
I didn't
You,
yeah.
well, that's like when Julia's anti-aging serum went too far.
You betrayed me, Julia.
He drank too much from Carolyn, and he gave David Peer. But I guess, did I cut off there? Was I like?
Yeah,
frozen?
you did for just a
Just
bit.
for a hot
So,
second.
so
Few
I don't
seconds.
know where you left that story, but Jim Pearson was absolutely petrified because of the jewel theft, and the ring had been stolen, and of course everyone was worried. And yeah, of course, this is what I was talking about, and it all concluded. It was funny because when it was mentioned, I saw David Selby start from his table, and he vanished for a bit, and then there was just this flash of a crimson cape and a like Viennese opera mask and all of that, and some kerfuffle. And then one of the actors, I won't say who, Roger Davis, was being hauled out by the gendarme, and the ring was returned by the grateful hotel manager. And what should happen, but Selby just slipped back into his table and looked confidently at Chip and just sort of nodded. And to this day, I wonder if that was really the Crimson Reprimand. We'll never know. But he solved the mysterious jewel theft of the cat,
Yes.
who left only one Dirk Wilkins glove
Mhm.
at the snow.
Oh, was it Harrison Monroe?
Wouldn't it be
So,
the robot
Yes,
Harrison?
the robot
Yeah.
Harrison
I
Monroe.
gotta say, I loved the videos too. Donna Wandry,
Oh.
and Bree Wallace,
Mhm.
Catherine interviewing David Hennessy.
So cool.
In fact, Catherine was leaving. I was like, "You should start your own podcast," and she went, "No, no, no."
Yeah.
She was a fantastic interviewer, though. I
She
mean,
is. I was like,
she
wow,
can
she's
do
a
it.
natural. She's a natural.
Dynamo. I'll tell you what, Catherine Lee Scott is an example of what happens in life when you actually read the manual.
Yes.
She read the manual. She's like,
knows
oh,
what she's
so
doing.
you do this to have a happy and fulfilled life. Okay, well, that's anyone. Why aren't they doing this?
She's
Oh,
amazing. She is so nice. Like I'm just honored that to even have gotten to spend time with her. Like she just was really cool. And on Friday at the bar, you saw that group when you came in. It was like,
yeah.
it was like she invited me over, and I was like, oh my God. And
Oh,
her
right.
down, and she was really cool. She's like, so who do you want to get on your podcast? And we're just chit-chatting about different people and stuff. And she was just so cool.
Oh.
But back to the videos. Marie Wallace doing that monologue from Lion in Winter, which
Oh
was
my gosh.
beautiful. It was just so appropriate and so wonderful and meaningful, and I'm so glad she did that. And it was
I love how
really-
she just went right into character, and she was like reading the model. Oh my God, it was amazing.
I heard
Did you
Eve
find
just for 2
yourself-
seconds.
Did you find yourself thinking, you know what? I could have gone to that production if I had really wanted to, and if I had known about it. Why did I do that? I'm a
Right?
bad.
Yeah.
Now you're
Done
kicking yourself.
What year
Yeah.
What year
Yeah.
did that happen? Remember?
93.
93.
Yeah. I couldn't
No, I
because I
couldn't.
was doing summer stock at the time.
I was
I
in
didn't go to
college.
the fest. I was in the fandom at that and since the 80s, but I didn't go to a festival until 2006.
Wow.
I was really like not into going to cons. I was kind of shy about it, believe it or not. I have like,
yeah.
even though I'm kind of a ham, I have some social anxiety stuff. So I was like, oh,
Tell me about it.
You hide it very well.
do.
Danielle. You hide it very well.
I was telling
I do
Kara
that.
before we got there, I was like, the introvert in me, the social anxiety in me is screaming. I said, but I'm going to put it aside because we're never going to get to do this again.
You know what? I was absolutely terrified to go. I was like, honestly, I was on the plane and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to say something stupid. did. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did.
The three of you were pure light and pure glamour.
Ugh.
I really mean it. You lit up the whole con. All three of you. I really mean it.
Aw, I will say it was nice walking in Wizard of Oz style with you and Alan
To the memorial
That
service.
was pretty great.
That was great.
We were skipping and singing, you
I
know, it was
missed
great.
that. I wish I could see that.
Alan gentleman shamed me too.
Oh, well,
Because he was the first with the arm, and it's like, oh,
Was,
God,
because-
I gotta do it too.
It was the first time I'd worn an actual
Good.
like jacket
weekend.
for like a year. So something, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. So I did it.
It was great.
Good, yeah, it
was
really
nice.
was.
To see Mary O'Leary too. She got a Saturn Award. For
Oh,
God, that,
yes.
oh my God. All the
So,
work.
so
she's done.
deserved. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
We had the great cardboard box race with Mary O'Leary. That was fun. So,
Oh,
and to find Catherine's boxes that
and
had
there were these
special.
two boxes, very important.
And,
Yeah.
and
You
all
got the
had to
special
find-
key to the room.
Oh, yeah, I
Talk about
leveled
the
up.
special key.
I leveled up in terms of like a video game character because not only did I receive the key, but I had the power to make it work on the
Use
door.
it.
It didn't
That's
always
right.
work.
Mhm.
And it felt like a video game moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Achievement
Get the one
unlocked.
up.
there were also some
Mm.
longtime fans that were helping out a lot, like Nina Ogle, who I love. She's
Mhm.
like the Elizabeth Collins starter of the fandom. She's
Yes.
so
Mhm.
classy and cool. And she helped, and Patty Karapinar, who made the
Oh,
I met
medallion.
Patty.
Patty's a
Oh.
rock star.
Yes,
she
she
was
is.
amazing.
Yes, yes.
So cool.
Yes. Like made it herself. That was so incredible.
Yeah, she's so cool, and she helped out a lot at that. And
The best.
Amanda Desiree too. Rondo nominated Amanda Desiree.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
And Vampire Vineyards. How cool was that?
Oh my God.
We won the bottle of wine.
Yeah, we took the bottle of, well, we didn't get to take it home because we couldn't take it home on the
Yes,
plane. So
You
we
won it?
We left it
Oh,
for our maids in the room,
Yeah.
but we couldn't take it home.
nice of you. Oh,
I
that's so
know.
cool.
it was
They're
like
gonna really
throw it away
appreciate
or we leave it for somebody. And
But I kept the cape,
yeah,
okay?
I kept the cake.
Ansel's
And
mom.
Don Schmidt and Susie were there, and they've been on Jules's show.
Oh my God, Dawn and
That's
Susie
So
were
sweet.
great.
Yeah.
DS May Collins.
Yes,
Love her so much.
yes.
What a sweetheart.
It was really good to meet them. It was really good to meet them.
Yeah, they're so nice. So many nice people. I mean, it was just like,
It's
you
just
turn around,
family.
there's a great person there to talk to, Joe Flanagan and
Yeah.
Cather and Bob Issel. I was just like, oh my God, it's you.
I just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
introducing me, Danielle, to Bob. That was great. Like we're
Oh,
already
yeah.
planning our trip to Lyndhurst
Ni-
Oh,
next
good.
spring.
Gotta
Like
get you-
we're already planning it. So
Yeah, I gotta
I
get you.
gave Bob the Seaview Terrace photo I did.
yeah,
That's-
yeah.
Gave it to Bob. Bob said he's probably going to be in the next book.
Awesome.
So I'm
Cool.
very happy about that. And Bob was great. It was good. Hi, Bob. It was good to see Bob, and he was happy with the Seaview Terrace picture. So I was very happy. That was nice.
That's all.
I used to
Good.
buy trinkets and collectibles off Bob back in the mid-90s. So we've
Yes.
sort of known each other long distance for a long time. So
Yeah.
he keeps telling me, you've got to come up to Seaview. You've got to come up to Seaview.
Oh, you do,
Yeah.
guys.
It's an amazing weekend. And it's a hell of a house. And
Mm.
Oh
and
my
you
God.
know, because I did this photo of the big sort of semi-spiralish staircase.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
sort of the staircase. And what I didn't know is that Bob and his crew restored that. It had been horribly vandalized,
Yes, yeah.
and
We
that
finished
it was pristine thanks to him. So
The staircase.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
refinished it.
Because Salva Regina leased it out, the college, for many years, the Carey family let Salva Regina use it as dormitories, and those college students did not
Yeah.
respect where they
What
were.
on
They
earth?
were literally swinging from the chandelier.
Chandeliers. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
what
I heard
the-
that story.
Can't
Yeah.
do nothing with them kids. What did you guys think of the just the like during the second day when they did the Jonathan Frid remember, and I still can't say that word to this day. I don't know why it's a
Remembrance?
small word.
Frid. It's pronounced Frid.
Centenary. I can't even say
Centenary,
it.
yes.
Jonathan
Thank
Frid's
you.
birthday, 100th birthday.
Thank you.
That works.
His 100th.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
why.
On the
You know, I
double
can
zero.
say things like flabbergasted and stuff, and I can't say that word. anymore.
Mary's fault. I blame Mary O'Leary.
I'm like, just say 100th birthday. That's easier.
But that is, it would have been his 100th birthday, right? That's
Wow.
pretty.
And December the 2nd.
December the
So-
2nd. Yeah.
But yeah, the stories. I mean, Roger Davis, I know God bless him. He was long-winded, but he was such a good storyteller.
He's the best bunny trail storyteller.
Yes, yes.
Like
So
The first time he walked up on stage, he walked like a man who was 105 years old. But then as soon as he began to speak and interact with people,
Yeah,
suddenly he
nervous
became
attack.
like 50 years old.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes.
Amazing.
yeah.
I
will
really
tell you
wanted
what,
bongos though. I wanted like poetry.
when he
was-
goes down that, when he goes down that rabbit hole, it's kind of like, okay, Roger, and all the other actors were kind of like,
I
Oh,
know,
my
they're all like,
gosh,
okay,
Don't tell
the
that
reactions
one.
were amazing.
I think that's just like for old time's sake almost, because he
Uh-huh.
always just done that.
Yeah.
But David Selby was my favorite part when he went up there and read the letters from Jonathan
Yeah.
Frid,
Ah,
and
Yeah.
the humor and the feeling with which he delivered those letters to Jonathan's mother
Yeah.
were so moving. And I said it on Tara Collinwood when I was talking to people. I was like, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was just so moving.
I
And-
lost it. I
I was
lost it.
gone. I was
Yeah.
gone. Yeah, it was
Mhm.
great.
I am so sorry that I had to step out right at the end because my body hates me.
For that last
But yeah,
letter.
for that
like-
last letter, I walked back in and I was like, what happened? Everybody's crying. But I know we weren't supposed to, and I'm really sorry, David Selby, but she got the last one and she let me watch them sit in the hotel room crying. I'm like, I
Yeah.
get it now.
No, I'm glad to see
I
it
I got a
happening.
thrill with those letters because years and years ago, Bob Issel created something called the Collingwood Collection, which was a bound copy with a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff in it, and some of those letters are actually reproduced in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Now, I was with you girls when you watched that and you immediately deleted it.
Yes,
That's right.
we did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
I only record is because she had to walk away.
Yeah,
That's
because I
all.
had to walk
That's
away,
all.
and then after I saw it, she was like, "I got to get rid of this because it said not to." So
Yeah.
And,
Fine, but you know, I mean,
that's the right thing to do.
yes,
It was for archival purposes, very briefly, and then
yes,
it was gone.
I
I'm
paid
sure
to
they're
see
gonna
that. I didn't
post
get to
an
see it.
official, probably they'll post an official version of it at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but
Ancient.
total respect to John, you know, Jonathan, like David doing that for Jonathan
Yeah.
and of Jonathan, you know, just total respect. I mean, that was such a treat.
Mhm.
Like, and for the people that were there, I mean, I'm sorry for the people that couldn't be there, but
Yeah,
what a treat.
yeah.
What a treat to get. Like,
I think with him and Lara, with Jonathan and Lara both, like just hearing their stories and seeing, you know, their family members get up and say stuff, I felt like I got to know just a piece of them, and that was
yeah.
worth the entire weekend. That made the entire weekend, was to get to feel like I got to know a piece of them.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
outside of Dark Shadows,
Like that they
you
were
know?
a part of it, you know, that they actually were there and got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Now,
was,
I'll say,
I wish Jeff Thompson had come. I really wanted to talk
Oh
to
my
him because
goodness, I really do.
he's an
Yeah.
academically inclined person like myself, and
yeah.
his books on Dan Curtis and so on, I would have liked to have
Yeah.
sort of had some niceties with
if you
him.
wanted to be there and you weren't, you know what, is no big deal. Nothing that important happened. But if you were there, man, it was cool.
It was
But if you
awesome.
weren't, yeah, don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything. Don't feel
Yeah.
bad. It was fine. It was fine. But if you were, man, it was cool.
Yeah, I think Jeff, you know, he had an issue for what reason he couldn't make it. So it's unfortunate. I know he was very disappointed that he
Mhm.
couldn't. I agree. He's like probably the main like fan person.
Yeah.
who I-
Right.
Well, he's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
he's big on Dan Curtis and Dark Shadows and the comic books. He was the first one to publish a sort of compendium on the Gold Key comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a collectible person. so.
Definitely. Us too.
Danielle, by the way, that Gold Key episode, oh my God. Like,
Wow, it was beautiful.
Like it's been my mission for the past like 3-4 years. I've got a whole stack of like the Gold Key like comics.
Yeah.
Like, every time my boyfriend's a comic book artist, and every
Oh,
time we have a show like at a comic book shop, like it is our mission to go searching for every Dark Shadows comic we can find.
Yeah.
Like, and we've got a whole stack of them, and like, oh my,
I
they're
think
so
you still
enjoyable.
have 2 of mine. Thank you.
Yeah, I do still have some of yours.
A lot of fun that episode. That was good. It was Jeff Thompson and Nick Caputo, who's
Yep.
like an expert
Yeah.
on Steve Ditko
Yeah.
and has Nick's blog, and has written Marvel stuff for Marvel books. But he's those Gold Key comics are super fun, and it's
Oh
so
my
fun.
gosh, they're so good.
and
good.
it's exciting. We're gonna get a new Dark Shadows. He was walking around talking about it. I interviewed him.
Awesome.
Mom,
Dark Shadows graphic novel. So
Oh my
Yes.
God. Oh my
Yeah.
I
God.
love it. I love
That'd be
it.
so awesome. So awesome.
I will say, and it kind of just sums up the whole thing. It's like our both of our parents separately sat us down and wanted to know about the whole weekend because our dad is responsible for all of this for us.
We
And
just
then-
went to breakfast with her mother this
Yeah.
morning and debriefed her on it.
And
She's like, I want to know everything.
and honestly, I couldn't say any one thing is like, oh, it was so great. You just had to be there.
You just had to be
You just
there.
had to be there.
Like you just,
and
you can only put it in so many words, but you just
Yeah.
had to be there. It
but that's how I sum up the whole weekend. I was like, you just had to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
The elevator system was a portal to another world, basically. And the
Certainly
elevator
was.
come down, and there's a whole bunch of people sprawled all over the
oh my gosh.
the lobby, and then the rooms are opening up, and the tables are getting
Oh my-
ready.
It was funny. Friday night after the memorial service, like after it ended, everybody, filed out of the ballroom and stuff. And there was like a line at the elevators, including Kristen and I. We just wanted to go up to our room and drop stuff off before we came back down. And Catherine walked by. She's like, everybody's going up to their room already. Like,
What are
we're
y'all
like,
doing?
No, we're just dropping stuff off.
Like,
We'll
no,
be
no,
right
no,
back.
Don't go anywhere.
Like the party's not over. Like we're just dropping stuff off.
Was this Friday night?
Friday night.
It was
yeah.
Friday night, right after the
Yeah,
memorial.
yeah.
She's like, "You guys are retiring already?" We're like, "No,
It's like,
no,
heck no, we're
There
not.
was one moment on Friday where I was just like, kind of just a fly on the wall, absorbing everything, because Catherine, James Storm, and John Logan were talking about the Hollywood film industry, and they were just they went deep.
Sure.
They were talking about how it works and
Yeah,
things they're frustrated by, things that they like that's going on, and it's like, wow, this is just a really cool insight that you would never hear in any
Right.
other situation.
right."
How
Uh,
cool.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear.
Like
that.
literally, like you said, to be that fly on the wall. We got to be
Yeah.
that fly on the wall that weekend.
Yeah.
It was
It was
so great.
amazing.
It was great.
Yeah.
Again, there's that accessibility of the actors.
Yeah,
it's like,
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
directly to you. Come on down, sit at our table. That kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't see that at the larger cons. I mean, it's impractical to do at some cons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'll never get that anywhere else, really, honestly.
Sure, and just fans that are, I don't know, that just use their creativity in a way that's just amazing. Like Stuart, who's done a lot of official stuff too with Big Fish and Dynamite, but he showed me a preview of Daytime Gothic 2, Bride of Daytime Gothic, and he was
Cool.
showing me the layout and how it was going to look, and I was like, wow, this
Bride of Daytime Gothic.
yeah,
He is a great graphics
interesting.
editor. He's really
Bride
good.
of Monster Cereal. Bride
Yeah.
of Monster Cereal.
I don't know if that's the official title of it. That's just at the end of the interview. He's like,
I
Bride
hope
of
the third
Daytime
one is
Gothic,
Taste
look
the
for it.
Blood of Daytime Gothic.
It's the blood of Daytime Gothic has risen from the grave. Gothic 1970 AD. Just go through all the Hammer Draculas.
Mhm.
Right.
Daytime Gothic and the Seven Golden Vampires.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
all in company.
The fearless
you guys have
daytime
a-
gothic
And
killer.
Daytime Gothic created woman.
Yeah.
goes on and on.
Now we're switching to Frankenstein.
Oh my gosh. I can't. Did you guys have a favorite story during the Q&A that one of the actors told?
Interesting.
Patrick,
It's
I'm
all
sure you've
it's
heard
all
them all,
Roger
but-
Davis. It's all Roger Davis for me.
Unbelievably, it's Roger Davis talking
It's-
about standing backstage and holding Lara Parker's hand.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
finally got back
Yeah.
around.
He
to it.
choked back tears when he said
He
that.
did.
too.
He
He had
did.
to. I'm getting
It
that.
was a
out.
fitting tribute at that point. I thought.
Yeah.
Certainly was.
Yeah.
I did like his story about we were talking about this before we pressed record, but the story that he told about House of Dark Shadows when he
Yes.
practically ran Jonathan through.
Like the whole story, he said
Yeah.
Dan Curtis told him and do it.
That's
this
a
way,
that's a
whatever.
twice told tale, or probably 100 times.
But
told.
here's the part I
Oh,
don't
wow.
believe is the ending. I think he added, because we talked about this before we started
Uh-huh.
recording. Because he said after he did it, Jonathan turned around and said, "That hurt."
That
Thank
hurt.
I'm pretty sure that it was a different combination of words that was blank, not thank you. I suspect. I
I
I do too.
suspect too.
I love it.
It's something in Canadian that
Yeah,
Yeah.
obscure language that comes
it
from
was something mean,
Yes.
weird.
First word is just covered with a maple leaf, so you don't see what it is.
Canadian word,
Ted, thank you in Esperanto, and it came out something.
Right.
Toronto.
I
Yeah.
did love that Lisa Richards, every time she got up, she was so literally short and sweet, but she kind of said everything when she said it.
Yeah,
she
she
was
did.
very short and sweet, but everything
Mhm.
she said was, to the point, on point, like, and what she wanted to say. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get that often. Like,
Right.
No.
like she's very,
We stopped and talked to some younger people that were in the line when Patrick and I were over there,
yeah,
sitting there, and that was kind of sweet to watch her do that.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
She's so cool. I chatted with her too after the event and just, chatted for a little while
Yeah.
about theater and I told her that John Logan and I told her our favorite role in the Great Nick D was her character of Aunt Judy.
Yeah.
She was hysterically funny, and that I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, is that Lisa Richards?
Right, right.
She was very, she was very happy that we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
Certainly.
I loved it. I loved it.
My favorite story from Lisa Richards when she was talking about how she was going to be in the movie. And she's like, and I died on the first page.
It's like I get the script and I die on the first page.
You're so
Oh,
excited.
poor girl.
If you
Every
want to
bud.
see, if you want to see great Lisa Richards, I mean, just watch any episode of Dark Shadows she's on. But also, there's she was in one of the top sort of art movie films of the 90s from one of my favorite directors, Henry Jaglom. It's a movie called Eating.
Eating, yeah.
It's
Right,
a
yeah,
movie
that's right, that's
about women and their relationship with food, and it is a
Right.
fantastic film, and she
Right.
owns it. She's marvelous.
when
Yeah.
was that released?
I think like 93,
Yeah,
94.
it got a lot of coverage in the various publications, the Dark Shadows publications of the time,
Did it?
newsletters and things like that. So
But it was a serious art film. I mean, right before Miramax kind of owned everything and took over
Right.
all the art theaters, um, Eating was a major hit. And Jaglom's a fascinating director. Really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'll have to check that out.
I do have to mention though, like the swag bags they gave were very
Holy
generous.
cow.
They were very generous and very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Well,
like,
there
how are we
you
gonna
go.
get this home? Like
And
we
they
were
were-
trying to figure out our luggage. We're like, how are we gonna get this home?
I wore 3 layers of clothes on the plane just to make room for my swag.
There was swag outside of the bag too, because there was a
Yeah.
whole book on screenwriting
Yeah, yeah.
and a press donated that Alan and I very
That's right.
hurriedly had to get out there because there was not enough. There was so much swag in the bag that the extra swag had to drag.
yeah,
Yeah.
It wound
Yeah.
up in
Catherine was going,
the bag.
didn't it get into the bags? And I said,
No,
I have a
no,
picture
no.
here of them in the bags, but there's so many of them that we had to
It's,
Yeah.
figure out
it's
eight.
true. We had this post-lunch crisis of like, what are we doing? We getting these books out.
Yeah.
That's
And
You gotta sell some day
Got
books
rid
to
of
light
most of
your
them.
load there.
pick them up.
Aside, Patrick, and you was Jim Pearson was there too, and you were like, Danielle, do you have this book in your bag? And you looked inside. What was the book?
It was a book on writing, fiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was
And I
it?
saw it in some people's bags, but it may not have gotten to everybody's.
I didn't
So,
know. I don't think
yeah.
I didn't have that. No.
I got one.
By the way,
Showed away
my-
with a lot of stuff.
my silent impressions. Okay, Jerry Lacey.
Oh,
That's gotta go.
I see it.
And then David Hennessy.
Uh-huh.
wow.
Uh-huh.
It's
Uh-huh.
eerie. Thank
It's
you.
pretty good.
That's it.
That's
That's all I
pretty
got.
Jerry Lacey broke his leg. That sucks.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Yeah.
apparently he's got like bionic leg, like he's got some sort of
Yeah, he's
artificial
the bionic man
legs in
now.
there now. He was talking about
Apparently,
it,
I think
yeah.
he came home today or yesterday from.
Yeah,
Oh.
they posted, yeah. That,
Yeah,
Now
Yeah.
Yes. Next time.
Yes, there we
I love
go.
American
I
style
love
behind
it.
me.
How do
You
you
have that stuff on a button there.
No, because my hands were up
oh,
here.
because you did
Oh,
this.
Again.
Wow.
Come on, fireworks.
It doesn't happen for me.
Yep. Once is enough. It'll take about 20 minutes. It'll be able to do it
and-
again.
And Nancy Barrett couldn't make it either, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
in a
She
future.
lives in Arizona now, I understand. I think.
Yeah, she was on assignment.
Yeah.
It was nice of Catherine, to fill us in though when she was up there. Like, for one, the whole David Hennessy thing, that was such, because literally since they put the tickets on sale, everybody's like, "Where's David Hennessy? Where's David?" And it was so nice that she did that for us. Like,
Yeah.
did a little thing for us, and then that she talked to Alexandra. She talked to Nancy. She let us know that, they're all okay. They're doing great. It was nice to get a little update through her. Like, that was really nice of her to
Yeah.
give us
Yeah.
that.
It was nice.
Yeah.
The only thing, I do wish, and Jim may not have known about it, when he put the slideshow together for all of the other actors and fans too, who've passed away since the last festival. Gay Edmund, who played Stella Young and the Ghost of
Yes.
Hortense Collins,
Yeah.
passed
Right.
away recently, only a couple of weeks ago. Her niece,
Yeah.
radio DJ, posted about it on Twitter.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Because I had reached out to the niece to see if Gay would do the
Yeah.
podcast. This was a few months ago, and I never heard back, but and then she posted.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And like Kristen and I, like this being our first, Dark Shadows gathering, like since the last one, like you said, like, all the people that we have lost, like we've been sitting here, the whole time, like, oh my God, this person, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, but still just getting to be there, and the people who agreed to be there, like the actors that did it. I mean,
Oh, it was amazing.
you
Yeah.
can't, I really can't put it into words really, but
Yeah.
it felt like such an honor to actually just be there.
Just be there.
Like, it was such an honor to just be there.
And just
like-
the capacity of just,
Like-
being in their presence and being in the presence of other Dark Shadows fans
Yeah.
and you guys, of course, and
Yeah.
it was just
It,
very,
was
very
very-
honored, very privileged.
like we treated this, and it still feels like it, like for us, it feels like a once in a lifetime thing for us. And like when we bought the day they went on sale, we bought the tickets and we're like, this could maybe never happen again. Like
Yeah.
that's what it felt like for us. And
Yeah.
there's no way that we would miss out on it. And
Yeah.
Well, there have been other
expectations were
weekend
all met.
events and so on, but there's
Yeah.
no big con that's been in the works since 2016. So
Yeah, yeah.
we really don't know if anything else is going to go.
They
So
have to. If they don't, we will. 60th
Right,
anniversary.
exactly.
So there is
It
no
was-
way this will not stand. We will have to do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was at the same time, it was reverent.
Yes.
And this is different from other shows. It really was. It was reverent and it was contemplative, but there was joy at the
So much
same
joy.
time, unifying all of it. And that was a really extraordinary vibe.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
Lara's family was there, at least a fair chunk of them were there as well. which
They
is,
were. They
you
were.
know,
Yeah.
It's not something that necessarily would happen at any other run-of-the-mill convention, doing a memorial service or remembrance, that you get
Yeah.
actually get the family to show up. And
Yeah.
Right.
And like you said, to make this one like our first time, to make this one specifically, like Patrick Allen, like you said, like it felt like probably one of the most special ones that probably ever happened.
Mhm.
Like, and it was such a treat to be there. Like,
I was sad that it was over.
I know it was such a whirlwind of a weekend. Like Danielle, like you said, like it. The second we left our room, like there was no downtime. Like it was
No.
just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
It was a
That
great
was
time
true.
and unforgettable, but oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
It
It
was
was
great.
nonstop, but it was in a good way.
It
Yeah,
was great.
certainly was.
It was so great.
Anything else anybody wants to add? Been chatting a while, so.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was a great couple of days. It was
Certainly
actually
was.
like 4 days, day before and the day after for me. So that was kind of cool. I
Same.
was able to sort of collapse the day after, or,
Definitely.
you know,
Definitely.
and before I had to jump on a plane,
Yeah.
which is always fraught because nowadays there are usually delays in getting your connection. et
You know,
cetera.
Right.
the one time they're on time, you know.
Yeah,
That's
But
how
I'm
we
no
felt. Sunday was our
complaint.
free day and we just collapsed. We just
Yeah.
slept. It was
I mean, when I got home, I was like, and I had to go
Yeah.
back to
Zombie.
work and
Yeah.
stuff. And I taught class on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Boy, getting
my
through those
gosh.
3 classes
Whoa.
was interesting.
back
What
to
a
work.
guy.
Back to
Yeah,
work.
basically
From the
just
book. That's a
caught
read
in-
from the book day.
inside my head. But yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we just want to say thank you guys so very much. It's an honor to have all of you on the
Thank you
show.
for doing
Thank
this.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you guys for showing
I wish we could have done this while we were there, but I love that we're doing it now.
up.
Try.
Yeah,
We tried and it was
we
just
did try. We were sitting at dinner and things happen. That
It
was
was
a whole other
distracting, let's
fiasco
put
that
it
I
that
won't,
way.
I
Yes.
won't bore you with the details, but yeah, just thank you guys so much for coming on, and we should do this more often, honestly. But before we go, as always, remember to keep it between us and the shadows. Thank you,
night.
everyone.